Broads Media.
Walk-offs are always beautiful, right? But it's that much better when Gabe Kapler's stupid face is hanging over the dugout and he's processing, oh, we just got bent over. We just got spanked on the tush. Here's Trea Turner with the game on the line, and he's there for you. The ball hits off the glove. It goes into the outfield. Stoddy too hotty. Brandon Marsh rounding around the bases. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is what happens, though, in all seriousness, when you play with fire as the Giants in the 7th inning, in the 8th inning, and in the 9th inning. In the 7th, Brandon Marsh gets hit by a pitch. The first man is on without any outs. Unfortunately, it went really badly after that, but still, in the 8th inning, you're watching Rhys Harper walk without any outs. Sadly, Alec Boehm grounded out into a double play, and that killed any sort of possible fight that the Phillies had for that inning. Bang, that building felt it, and watching Alec Boehm go down the first baseline, it was a tough one for him. It was a slow one for him. But if it happens again in the 9th, when Stock gets drilled in the back elbow, and that didn't look good, and now we're talking about a very quick turnaround with an afternoon game tomorrow, I would be surprised if he is in the lineup. There's no way that he's not hurting. That absolutely killed, but he sucked it up, and he was trotting away full speed to motor through all the bases. One thing that makes no sense, but I'm just telling you how I feel. When Brandon Marsh took second from first base and took the bat out of Kyle Schwarber's hands, I was a little angry because at that point it's easy to just put him on. But you're basically guaranteeing the bases are juiced. Of course you do that, putting a second person in scoring position. It's a solid thing to do. I just wanted to see my guy Schwarbs hit a nuke and hit a walk-off. But quite frankly, I don't care who hits it. If it's Rojas, if it's Marsh, if it's, I was going to say Matt Vierling, he's no longer even here, and Mundo Sosa, Cave. He took a hack, and he popped it up super high. I think it ended up going in the outfield, but it wasn't very far out of that infield. What a game. What a game. And Rhys Harper shows off his power, gives the Phillies a 2-1 lead. The team really struggled with runners in scoring position before the big kaboom. It was 1 for 9. Can't get that timely hit. We've heard this same story before. It's the same song and dance until the fight back late, though, really rallied them. And this is a powerful lineup. Seriously, if you're going to put the first guy on inning after inning after inning with the game on the line, it'll cost you. And even Gabe Kapler throughout the game, it was a one-run game in the 7th inning, and he was down to his last bench piece. And at the time of that going around on Twitter, the reaction was, so what? They're winning. So what? The Giants have the lead. And my rebuttal was, it's not about that. The Phillies should be winning. They're just screwing up. The reason why Gabe Kapler had the lead in that game is not because of what he did with his moving of the pieces. All right, so let's not try and give this guy credit for something he doesn't deserve. Jock Peterson out of the game. I don't want to take Jock Peterson out of the game by any means. I don't know. I don't get it. Not my problem, but every time I see him, it reminds me of what once was my problem, and I can't shake it, and I never will. I will never get over looking at his face. I despise it. It's real. It is seriously something that makes my whole body shake. And it's not the late night coffee, and it's not the late night tea or anything caffeinated. It's strictly pure baseball hate. The guy is a clown. And the fact that this team can go out and sweep him tomorrow, that's a beautiful taste, especially knowing where those wild card standings currently sit. It's so ridiculous to see the bottom of the order do their thing, especially when, let's not forget how this game started. It's the first inning. Everybody's riding high. You're feeling great for what happened in game 1, and Alec Boehm and Taijuan Walker have a Poor toss play with the ground ball to the right side. Here's a base runner. Kyle Schwarber in left field. Bad play, miscue, misplay. Now guys are on. Now luckily, you were able to hold them to only one run. Another night where there probably should have been more runs scored across the plate from the opponent, but you limit the damage. Your bullpen was so great. A lot of your guys, Sir Anthony Dominguez and Jose Alvarado. Craig Kimbrell comes in. Very strong for them to keep the game where it was. I was stunned to see the fifth play out the way it did to lose the lead, because you get the first two outs with two strikes. A double, a walk, a double. Really comes back to bite you in the ass. But yeah, a lot of poor play early on for the Phillies defense. And even when Brandon Marsh took center field, there was miscommunication between him and Nick Castellanos. It just shows you really how important Rojas is with commanding that position. He had that stellar effort where he was diving to his right. The ball hit his glove. It ended up popping out and all, but just unreal that he was even in a position to almost potentially make a play there. I love watching the kid play defense. There's some times where he has such a lethal jump on the ball that 90% of the league would have to be in a position to dive to even make the catch, but he sets himself up so nicely, and he gets behind the ball, and he gets such a good jump. It's truly remarkable and changes everything about what this team is defensively. Seriously, Brandon Marsh and Nick Castellanos is a perfect example of that. One day, we can hope and pray that Kyle Schwarber gets out of there. But if he hits a leadoff double, which then eventually comes around to score because Bryce Harper's getting hot, he's starting to feel himself again. My guy is getting perfectly hot when it is the right time for this team. This isn't slowing down. I promise you that. I guarantee it. Bucket, stamp it. It is delivered from my mouth to your ears that Bryce Harper is going on a tear with this team as they enter the postseason, and home runs are happening. Now, I want to give a lot of credit to everybody who hung out with me on Twitch. And yes, another day of me promoting Twitch, twitch.tv/Broads_media. Most mornings we're there kicking it, having my coffee with you. We're playing Call of Duty. It's a great time be there. But the reason I bring that up is it's a cool interaction where together we came up with our Phillies edition of In or Out prior to today's start. And it was in regards to the score. And I said the Phillies will win tonight by 5 or more runs. Now, a lot of the fan base that voted in were using logic today, and they were using their brain, because of the 300 votes, 70% said that they are out and the Phillies will not win by 5 or more runs. Now, a lot of that is just because they are nervous about how the team is going to have a night right after they just scored double digits and they produce 10 runs. They'll probably fall flat, so a lot of the responses lean more towards that. How about this, though? Very, very close. Instead of Trea Turner, he picked Rojas. Rojas with a walk-off in the ninth. I guess he said 2-1 and not 4-3. Maybe not as close. He just projected that there would be a walk-off, but I didn't see that coming today. I was in the wrong. I mentioned that they can do this. They can go snag this. They can go steal it and then go cruise for 5 runs, 6 runs, 7-run lead. I don't care if you win by 1. I don't care if you win by 6. Go win, especially in a heavy competition with this team that you're in. It's right there. This is emotional. This is very, very important. Guys can say that it's just another series and this and that. It's not. It's not. And it shouldn't be. I want you to know that there's more cards on the table, more poker chips on the table, I guess. Probably makes more sense. You should have more chips in. This hand that you were dealt, it means more when you're playing blackjack against the dealer and you got extra on it. Come on now. Let's not be foolish. And when it gets tough, and when you're in a really intense spot, Trea Turner, a guy who's been struggling forever, just came up monstrous, clutch as hell. I don't care if it was close, could have been a double play, could have been just as easily a bang-bang thing. And unfortunately, you get out similar to what happened with Alec Boehm over in the ninth inning last night. It was ripped, turns into a worse spot. You thought maybe you could get some juice. You don't get some juice. They made the catch. This time around, if you smoke it hard enough, doesn't matter. So I don't care what anybody says. Now, I want to get into the broadcast. I didn't like the broadcast, and it's nothing to do with anyone who was on it, whether it's Tom McCarthy, the normal crew, Ben Davis, Ruben Amaro, Angelo. It was nothing really about them. They were doing what they were told. I thought that became the story more than the game. Now, the way they won, I think we were now grab onto Trea Turner, everybody else, Brandon Marsh. He got screwed in that at-bat, by the way. There was a pitch call, get hosed. You know how important it is to flip a count in a ninth inning of a baseball game when it's one run? Seriously, what are we doing here? That's terrible. But it doesn't faze Brandon Marsh. I love it. Brandon Marsh really helped everything spark. My point, though, is now that they won in the fashion that they did, we'll really go towards that more than the broadcast. When Taijuan Walker, there's a line drive that literally goes right at him. It hits off of him, and they make a catch. Tom McCarthy is talking to someone behind him who's part of the fan base who was involved in the show. And once again, I'm not mad at him for doing that. That's what they wanted out of this. He was just doing it how it was supposed to be operated. But I don't like that just personally from a connection with the game level. I thought I lost touch on everything that was happening. They did the best they could with the circumstance. I'm not blaming them at all. I want to be clear. They handled it how they were supposed to handle it. I don't like the concept. It was about the concept for me. In theory, it sounds great. I just don't know if it's the best for everyone who's chilling at home. It was more of a we're relaxing, we're kicking it, we're hanging out, calling the game. I want to broadcast with my game. That's just my opinion. If you loved it, you loved it. That's cool. You're allowed to like it. I just know if I could choose every single night, it would be a traditional broadcast for my liking. It was nice to hear Rhys Hoskins, though. It was. It was nice to see him and hear him. I saw a lot of things flying around town about Rhys Hoskins. If you can, would you bring him back? Of course, if you can, at a reasonable price. If teams are afraid to sign him, which a bat that big, a bat with that type of power, there's going to be a franchise based off of his resume that will love to pay him in free agency, even with coming off of a major surgery and a major injury. That's my guess on it. If there is a way the Phillies can work this out and Dave Dombrowski and him, they communicate, him and his wife talk about it. They love the city. They're part of us. They believe in being in this community for the rest of their lives and having kids and the kids growing up here and all that good stuff. Well, then who knows? If he loves the trajectory of where everything's starting to go and loves the right now, let's win attitude, I think I sold you basically on the style of this and where it needs to be for me to say, well, what the hell? Why not? Let's make it happen if you can, right? I guess. I don't think I need to sell you anymore on Rhys Hoskins and what that mentality is like. I'm shutting up so you can talk now. Let's do that. Anytime hotline, let's rock it off.
The Fightins, baby. How about Trea Turner coming through with the bases loaded? Can't forget Brandon Marsh after he gets that horrible strike called on him. He says, I don't care. Line it up the middle. And what a beautiful win. You could not have lost this game. And just a huge win.
I'm with you, man. Huge win, and you're right. You can't lose this and then have all the pressure go to the third game. This is outstanding, and this is remarkable. Go do it and go do something serious. I want everyone to get the notification on their phone. Phillies win in epic fashion. Young stud comes up to the plate, sparks everything off by getting hit by a pitch. This is a very long phone notification, but just imagine that's what's happening. And this team is on fire, beating up an opponent that's trying to win a number one wild card spot. It is so important to be that number one team. I want everyone to leave the dugout that night around the league, check the box score, and their heart drop. You gotta be kidding me. You can't be serious. The Phillies again? Oh, man, they're beating around that Giants team, which under the Gabe Kapler regime has given us problems. What I love about this team is on any given night, it could be anybody. That at-bat by Marsh was so lethal. Now, it takes a collection, but the fact that you can rely on the bottom half of your lineup, it wasn't too long ago that there was a game where they ended up losing, and the only time they scored was Edmundo Sosa got knocked in by Rojas. And that isn't sustainable if that's your only way of scoring. But if there was more of a situation where that one run happens in a game that's 5-5, everyone's kind of producing, everyone's doing their thing. Can Rojas be huge? Absolutely. Can Sosa be huge? You bet your ass he can. He hits a home run in a triple just 24 hours ago. Name someone. They've done it. Some have struggled when they're bigger contract guys. I wish I could plop JT Realmuto into the conversation more. I can't. Speaking of Gabe Kapler and JT Realmuto, was there a throw by JT? Now, I don't know if it was a throw over by Taijuan Walker or if it was a throw by JT Realmuto. But he couldn't get the challenge in time because he took too long. At least that's what we were informed by the broadcast. I was looking at it maybe, and it was possible that he would have liked to try and challenge it, but they couldn't get it in. Oh, dude, I can't stop thinking about how bad he is at managing the game of baseball. The guy's a weirdo. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I'm sorry. There are some things that I just can't shake, and it's something about whatever Gabe Kapler is as a baseball manager. It freaks me out because there's no way he should be allowed to do it. There's no way he should be able to connect with the clubhouse. It makes no sense to me. He's awful. Awful. I never want to see him again on the baseball field. Okay, next call.
Bros, man, what an ending. You know, it had me worried again throughout the game. You kind of had to know after the last game that just the way this offense is, sometimes they use up all the juice. I was a little worried it was going to go that way, but never count them out. And hey, at the end of the day, it's a win. Great comeback from Trea after going 0-4, and yeah, it's just awesome. Let's sweep these bitches and move on. Go Phils.
Let's sweep these bitches and move on. They have the no-die attitude. It doesn't matter what the inning is. It doesn't matter how late it is. If they feel they're in striking distance, all it takes is one batter. All it takes is one walk. All it takes is one hit by pitch. There's something so incredible about what it means, especially when you're playing in your own ballpark, to get that one guy. So you're telling us there's a chance. The way this team grabs onto the fan base and their energy in one of those positions is magical. It's special. There are guys around the league that have checked in on this franchise and checked in with some of the players on this roster asking what it was like to feel that last year. They've seen a lot of postseason ball. They haven't witnessed a fan base that's been starving and been as hungry as we are with as passion as much as we have. Dude, it's one guy getting on base after being hit in the elbow. After the boos came flying because, come on, man, you can't hit our stud. You can't hit our young stud like that. You jerk off. All right, what the hell are you doing? Get your command under control. Figure it out. You're going to get guys hurt. They're going to miss time because you can't do your job. After that mentality ended, we got this. Just give us 0.05% because it's better than zero. You smell that? You smell that? That's Citizens Bank Park getting up. That's everybody getting on their feet. All right? That's the on a big pitch. That's everyone. You can hear the roar. Can't wait for tomorrow. I need to see 3 W's. You think I'm insufferable now? I don't know if you do or not. If you do, you have another thing coming if they win tomorrow, especially if it's another late one or if it's they could just go out and win 9-0. And it's like, yeah, that's great to see them dominating, beautiful, but the intensity, you know what I'm saying? That we'd have on this show, maybe it still would be outrageous. I don't know. I can't get a sense of it. All right? I don't know what it sounds like or looks like to the other side. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad. Probably a good thing. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it from your eyes.
Now, Hunter, absolutely no negativity will come out of my mouth tonight as you ordered from the night before. What a win for the Phils. Frustrating game. Offense non-existent after the first inning, but they got it done late. You know, you win the series, that's nice, but I want to step on their throat tomorrow. I want to send them out with a sweep, put them 3 games back in the standings worse than they were coming in. You know, Lorenzen, yeah, he pitched like trash his last time out, but I think tomorrow you're going to get a better effort out of Michael Lorenzen. To me, it's up to the bats. I mean, Cobb is a guy that can change speeds and keep you off stride and make you look sick at times. But that's just a huge win for the Phillies. Great job by Trea Turner. Great job by Bryson Stott. Way to step into that pitch and get hit by it. Let's go, Phils.
I want to see how they look to start tomorrow's game. What if it's more sloppiness? Now, I guess I have to hit the pause button because there's so much time to shake it off, and they basically just admitted to you and proved to you that it doesn't matter if they start out awful because there's plenty of time for them to make it up. It might take us our very last inning. It might take us our very few last at-bats, but don't you dare leave that ballpark because I promise you that there's something to this. I guess I can't really argue it because of what I just saw. Now, you can't do it every single night, but it's also not going to go away. Trust me, this is who they are. So, you have to live with it. I tweeted right after that Schwarber debacle. I said, shake it off, boys. All right, shake it off, boys. Figured they would. I wasn't overreacting. I just hated it. I despised it. I don't despise Kyle Schwarber's professional ABs, though. He walks a couple times, gets on base. Isn't it the greatest? Isn't it one of the most electric things? When you fall asleep at night and you stare there and you stare at the wall and you try and fall asleep, you count sheep, you think of other things, I don't know, whatever you do. You ever run through the Phillies lineup if you were the manager and what you do? Very frequent does that happen to me. I'll run through the Flyers 4 lines. I'll look at their 6 defensemen who I want. I put the pieces together. Eventually, I fall asleep. I spend a lot of time, though, just imagining what that would be like. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Kyle Schwarber. It's the complete opposite of Kapler. Just the complete opposite. Speaking of Schwarber, though, in the 7th, when Marsh got hit by a pitch, watching Kyle, Turner, and Nick fail. That's the moneymakers. You're supposed to pay out there. That's when you cash in. You're bringing the lottery ticket. You want a $5 scratch off. You're going to pick up your $5. You're picking it up. That's what you're doing here. All right, cash in. We need these guys to cash in. They do, though. They do. All right. We'll take one more, and we'll wrap things up.
Holy shit, bros. Trea Turner. That ball was absolutely smoked. Oh, my God. That was fucking insane. Other than Trea, Taijuan Walker is pretty good. I mean, that's like all you got to expect. I mean, he's like a 4-starter for you. I think Schwarber playing better for sure. All around a great game. I was a little pissed off when we were up 2-1 and then all of a sudden it's 3-2 because Taijuan Walker gives up a double. It's a little annoying, but Harper's power is so back. It is so back, and if this team gets in the playoffs, it's going to be dangerous.
Oh, of course. Of course. That's what happens when you put together a lineup with this level of power. Now, Taijuan Walker, to your point, he went 5 innings and allowed 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, just under 90 pitches. He finished with 89. 55 of those are strikes. I don't know really how to even judge that game from Taijuan Walker. I don't walk away, no pun intended, from that one with any thoughts on Taijuan Walker. Is that strange? Is that weird? Did I even bring him up once? No, because I don't think that it even really came to my mind. It just happened. It was just there, which is just odd to me, and I'm not used to that because considering he was your starting pitcher in a game where you're fighting against the Giants, the starting pitcher seems pretty important. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. He was middle of the road. Which, to the caller's point, I guess at times is what Taijuan Walker is. He can show signs of a great starter. He can show signs like we've seen in the first inning, like we've seen early in ball games, him really start slow and have to work from behind. But after that, he does. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what he is. Today, it slipped under the radar. You know what they say? This might be the perfect way to describe it. When you don't mention a left tackle, maybe this is an awful way now that I'm processing it. When you don't mention a left tackle, when you don't hear the left guard, when you don't hear anyone on the offensive line, it's quiet, but that means they're doing their job. Now, we are spoiled and get to see Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata. And we once had Brandon Brooks, and we're figuring out what Cam Jurgens is. Probably will be a Hall of Famer at this rate after getting to be worked on by Jeff Stoutland. But for the most part, and for most of the teams around the league at some of these positions, they're doing enough. That was Walker today, in my eyes. Okay. All right. Well, shut up now, and we'll end this. Thank you guys all so much for kicking it with me here tonight, and I will talk to you tomorrow after the finale.